So I've now added these 3 lines at the front of the fish. If I turn that over on the side, okay, and I place this piece of black card underneath, hopefully you can see the structure a little bit more easily. So at the end here, towards the tail, look, it's very, very low. And then it carefully and slowly gets higher towards the middle and then comes down again towards the face. Okay, so curving like this rugby ball shape that we talk about. If I flip it round and I'll show you the other side here, it was also curved from that angle as well. Okay, so again resembling a rugby ball from this angle. Okay, now the next stage, okay, for this design is I've decided to add these other lines here across. Now, 2 reasons really. 1, because I think it resembles scales, but 2, also it is going to help to give my sculpture a bit more stability. You don't have to have kind of lines or patterns in both directions. That's just the design that I've chosen. So again, just like when I'm doing the tail, I'm going to attach it at the bottom. I'm going to very carefully pinch it tightly with 1 finger and 1 thumb, using my other hand to wrap the remainder of the wire around about 3 times. Now, my design, the wire curves outwards, so I'm just going to carefully smooth that shape with my finger and thumb to create a curve like this. Okay, I'm just going to straighten this edge here because I don't want that to become distorted because I'm pulling these 2 wires too close together. And again, tightly holding that in place, wrapping that carefully around, staying as close as you can to the wire going in this direction. Okay, once should be enough. Okay, so I'm just going to try and get it really tight, so really close to the previous wrap, like this, and then bring it back up again. Again, being very careful with your wire because of the elastic memory. Okay, if necessary, you might find you need to straighten your other wires out as you go along. Okay, because obviously it is quite malleable. And then I'm simply going to repeat that process, so curving the wire with my fingers until I've gone all the way along. So here we go, there's the start. I've curved the wire here, and then I'm curving another section there, and I will go all the way along until I reach the other side. I have finished doing the patterns. If I take away this bottom sheet, it's probably a little bit easier to see. Okay, so you can see that I have added these sort of basic simplified scale shapes. If I just flip it over again, there we go, we've got the rugby ball shape this way and also the rugby ball shape that way. Really important. Now, as I've been going along, I've been constantly checking my shape and just continually manipulating the wire just so that everything doesn't get distorted. Yeah, it is something that you have to keep doing as you go along. Now, this is the stage where you take it off the paper. Yeah, until you get to this stage where you've got one side which is raised and fully complete, it does need to stay on the paper. Then what you can do is you can start doing the other side. So again, remember we're starting with the middle wire, and especially because on this design, this middle wire here is where all these horizontal lines join. This is a really important one to do first. Now, I'm going to start again by trying to find a little bit of a space where I haven't got too many other wires joining. It can be quite difficult at this stage, but this illustrates why it's so important to not do too many wraps. Yeah? So as I said before, 3 wraps around is a good number. If you do loads and loads, you will run out of space to attach your other wires. So I'm just going to squeeze into this little space. If you need to attach it on top of some other existing joins, you can do so. Just try and be careful, and again, try and keep it as close to the outline wire as you can. Now, at this stage, it's very important that you pay really careful attention to the width, yeah, of your other side. So you need to be looking at and thinking about how far away from this middle outline the edge is and matching this wire on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carefully hold it with my finger and thumb against the outline. And I'm just going to test it by kind of drawing it outwards and inwards until I find that it is the same distance away as the other side. Because remember, you're aiming for a symmetrical body. This is quite important, and it's going to be one of the things that we look for when we assess your work. Now, as I said earlier, you don't have to do a pattern that's this intricate. It's more important that your work is controlled and neat rather than doing lots and lots of delicate, intricate patterns. Okay, this is something that you might want to do if you want to, really challenge yourself. Okay, again, this is far too long, so I'm going to cut it. Now, I've decided that this is about the right distance. Now, I need to angle it because obviously on the other side it's angled towards the back. Okay. Then again, carefully, I'm going to use my fingers, okay, just to attach that again to the other side. Now you can see that it's getting quite complicated at the top. There's a lot going on, so you do need to be really careful and making sure that you're pushing these wires very close to the outline shape so that you get these controlled corkscrew effect joins. Okay. Now obviously, as I said before, as I'm working, the sculpture naturally becomes distorted, so keep readjusting it so that you kind of maintain that shape. Now the next stage would be, again, just like I did before, is to add these horizontal stripes here on the other side, and then afterwards you would add that side as well. Okay, and all the eyes and the fins on the side will be added right at the very end.